Good evening. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Just want to welcome you here this evening. I'm at a different location, and so I had a special report. I just wanted to get some information out to the people. Um, in recent news today, the Trump team has put out a clear and viable path to victory, as stated by Chanel Ryan with One American News, the chief White House correspondent. She said that there's a clear path has been laid out by a Trump legal team, and Sidney Powell said that there's a lot of evidence of voter fraud. And we heard yesterday about Trey, I think his name was Trey, with the United States electorate, and he says very clear that there's a thing of fraud on in this election process. Recently, also was listening to a young lady who was speaking for the GOP in Michigan, and in Michigan, she said it's clear that the canvassers, if you disagree with the process, where she was the only no vote in this thing with the canvassers, and the rest of them were Democrats that were canvassing the absentee ballots there in Michigan, and they refused. They refused. They said all kinds of things about the woman. I can't believe this. It's really so crazy. They said she was a racist just because she wanted to take a little more time to confirm there in the Michigan with the Michigan electorate. What is wrong with taking a few additional days? What is the big rush? And of course, we know what the big rush is. They're afraid that they're going to be found out, and too bad, they already found out. There's so many reports out there, so many affidavits that already have been released, and it's just too late. It's too late to bring, as they used to say, what do you say? It's too late to back the horse back into the barn. The horse already been released from the barn. He's already on his way. It's not backing up. Whether they put Trump back in office or not, they're going to have to deal with this situation of fraud and the things that's going on. It's crooked, people. It's crooked. They can say whatever they want. Today, also, the House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, a Republican from California, said the GOP victories in the lower chamber could suggest voter gains within the party, as disagreements among Democrats had led to near loss of the House majority. And of course, you know who the majority leader is, of course, is Nancy Pelosi. The American people were not convinced with their socialist agenda. This year's election, by flipping 12 seats from Democrats in the Congress, they proved that they're not up for it. They keep pushing this thing, and it's just not working. I say to the Democrat Party, you need to give it up. Stop pushing this crazy agenda, and maybe we can get this country back to some normalcy away from this radical. The GOP leaders said this means the American people are rejecting socialism ideas proposed by the Democrats. They pushed on raising taxes, ending fracking, and opening borders. This defunding police garbage did not help either. This unsettled many voters. And I just want to add this. One of the things you hear in this country, and the Democrats, of course, are always pushing racism. They say that President Trump don't like the Mexican people. He don't want them to come across the borders. And why we have all these people, Mexicans for Trump, Asians for Trump, blacks for Trump? If they didn't like him so much, why are they still for him? Even now, with all this garbage that's going on. Let me tell you something, American people. I want to talk to you right now about this. It's not only about our southern border. It's about all our borders, north, east, south, and west. Open borders, they can come from anywhere, from the north, from the south. It's already been proven that espionage came in from Canada a few years back and started some terroristic activity here in this country. They come from the south border, but if we protect borders, we may be able to more clearly identify these criminal activity that's coming across the border, both in Mexico, from Canada, from the Atlantic and the Pacific. But if we put something up there, say anybody could come on in, or whatever, we could do whatever we want, and then defund our police, who's going to regulate this? You know, the Democrat Party is talking about getting rid of the Department of Immigration. Now, granted, now they're not going to be able to do much anything because they got to get past the Senate. and the Senate is controlled by the Republican parties. I believe that we hold out for a couple more years, we'll be able to deal with that situation as far as the Republican Party goes. Pelosi predicted they might gain 15 seats. They said 15 to 20 seats in the House of Representatives a few months ago. And the fact of the matter is they actually lost 12 seats. The Republican held the seats that they had and gained 12 more. McCarthy said the result is due to poor decisions among Democrats' leadership over the last 2 years. Speaking mainly of Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, they thought the GOP would lose. They thought they would lose. How foolish. Also, former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich came out and he argued that historical precedent shows that in 2022, the House election will prove to even more disastrous for Democrats, and Pelosi will not maintain her position. McCarthy agreed, believing Republicans will have an advantage in the Congress regardless of what goes on in 2021. Republicans are also focused on putting people first before politics. And we continue to do the work, he stated. In the next Congress, we might not be able to schedule the floor, but we are going to run the floor. We're going to run the floor. So Democrats, look out. We're going after you, and we're coming after you, and we are going to run the House of Representatives. Now, Speaker Pelosi approached this election recently that nothing is better than something. That was totally wrong for the American people, because the Democrats continue to invite them to come to, not the Democrats, but the Republicans continue to invite them to come across the table and to resolve these issues in regard to the Colbert coronavirus stimulus plan. Yet Nancy Pelosi consistently would not budge. And I heard her in the beginning, I told you this before, she said she wouldn't budge, and when she didn't budge, pardon the expression. But we cannot deal with this in this country. You got to be pliable. You got to be able to move right to left, left to right. And the American people will not stand for a government that refuses to budge a little bit, not even to come a little bit across the table. And this radicalism by AOC and whatever her name is, and Ilhan Omar, this foolishness has got to stop. This country will be totally ruined if this is allowed to continue. But I will tell you this, Democrats, keep up the foolishness. You will lose the House in 2022 if you do that. I can almost guarantee it. You're going to lose it. The American people are tired of this. They still have not released the funds on the stimulus. President Trump offered $300 billion to the American people so that at least the people could get food on their table, and those who lost businesses could get back into life. But no, Nancy Pelosi and her wealthy just rejected it. You know, I told you before, former President Obama is filthy rich, and so is Nancy Pelosi. These people could care less about your paycheck or whether you get paycheck protection or not. They're extremely wealthy. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you really looked into how wealthy these people are, you would have said they shouldn't even be in office. We're supposed to be represented by governments of our peers, people of our peers. These people ain't no way near our peers. And they don't represent us, especially in the Democrat Party. Even though some of the Republicans are rich as well, at least we have an American first policy. We're sticking out for the American people. We're not looking to screw over the American people just to put more money in our pockets. Lawyer Democrats. The majority of the party is filled with lawyers. And what do we call lawyers in this country? Not saying they all are, but we normally call them liars. And they have proven it with this phony impeachment, phony Russia collusion, all these issues that have come up a few years since they've taken back over the House. And even from the beginning, with these false reports, people paying people to do false reports through the Russian government. Kevin McCarthy also invited Democrats to join the Republicans in the Paycheck Protection Act, and a program that's going $138 billion to American relief to relieve the workers of all this garbage that's been going on through this coronavirus. Meanwhile, they cited and signed by a letter signed by 23 Democrats calling for a discharge petition should Pelosi fail to come in agreement with the Republicans. This both Democrat and Republican lawmakers could move forward with coronavirus relief in America without a Speaker Pelosi. They're tired of Speaker Pelosi, just as we all are. We're tired of her holding things up, sitting on a big fat butt in her $1 billion home in San Francisco, and letting everybody else suffer. You think she worries about paying her bills? You think she worries about feeding her children? You think she worries about her children getting a proper education or being allowed to go to school? You know, it's very clear that in most of the Democrat states, they're the one that calling these lockdowns. I'm here right here in the Texas area. And we're in an area that's controlled by a majority of Democrat leadership. And they're shutting down everything. Shutting down, people in the hospital can't see the relatives or anything else. This foolishness has got to stop. If we're going to have protection or whatever, or 6 foot, whatever you want to call, allow it. But if you're going to stop everything just to stop everything, which all they're doing is trying to control the American people. Simple as that. I don't know if any of you have heard, there's a thing called the Great Reset. The billionaires across this country have been working on this for the longest time and around the world. The Great Reset. They want to put you all out of work so they can put you under a socialist system in the entire world. Well, guess what? It failed. Big Tech was behind it. I told you in the beginning, if you watch the reports, and Bill Gates didn't say anything about it. He came on and said, hey, this is these people. He said, what if a pandemic happened? What if something happened like that where disease you had to close down? He even said it himself. You notice all of a sudden when this pandemic came around, all of a sudden the internet was free. Everybody get internet. You want internet? Oh, we'll give you internet. Or you can have as much internet you want. My company gave me so much internet. Hey, I could get anywhere I want. My speeds were up and everything else. Why weren't they before? It's because of greed, and they're part of this thing, the Great Reset. This is clear stuff, people. This is in the media. This is in the national media, international media. It's known all around the world. This foolishness that there's no cure for the coronavirus. There is a vaccine, approved vaccine. They said it's been trialed or whatever. But we're here to talk about this in the mainstream media. No, they're avoiding talking about this. They're avoiding talking about this. Now, here we see this new thing in health insurance. $575 billion in Medicare cuts are coming in 2020, and seniors are doing this to save thousands. The fake news media will put out all kinds of stuff to get you to fearing and worrying about this and worrying about that. They want to keep you down. If they can keep you scared, what is terrorism, people? What is terrorism? Terrorism is a built-up fear. If they can make you afraid, guess what? They will. They will make you afraid. You'll be committing suicide. You'll be stressing out. You'll be breaking up your families, which a lot of people are doing. A lot of people commit suicide. People are just losing it. They're doing all kinds of things. And they're hiding it in the mainstream media. I'll tell you about all the increase in murders, all the increase in domestic violence because of these lockdowns. Yeah, they keep all that hidden. All the people in the mental health organization. My wife works for a mental health organization. And that minute their businesses, they're going up. They're making all kinds of money because the people are losing their minds because they're being stressed out and they're being pushed toward a spirit of fear, which I'm a pastor. So I'll tell you, God does not give spirits of fear. It's the world that does that. So I want you to understand, if I don't say nothing else to you, I'm going to say this one thing. You need to learn to put your trust in God and stop putting your trust in man. When you want to see what's going on in the media, see what's going on in the news, how do you think I'm always spot on when I tell you things? When I'm telling you stuff and you hear me telling you stuff on this program and all of a sudden you see a few weeks later it happened, it's not me. I'm following the Word of God. I'm following the Bible. And these things are in the Word of God in Revelation. Very clear. It's very clear, people. Very clear to this direction this world is going. And also, talking about Israel and the Arab immigrants. Arab immigrants recently told Pakistan You need to become a part of this peace treaty. And Pakistan runs the risk of being cut out of everything if they do not step into this peace agreement with the United Arab Emirates and the nation of Israel. So we need to climb on board. It's coming, people, regardless of President Trump get back in there or not. The peace treaty is coming because it's a part of history. God knew what he was doing in the beginning. The treaty's already started. It's going to continue. There's going to be peace in the Middle East. But watch out. There's still a wild card in this thing, and I told you before. If President, whatever they want to call him, Biden, I call it projected, because they projecting all kinds of garbage that's not true. But they projected President Biden wants to have a treaty with Iran, who hates Israel. And I'm telling you, I don't like it. I hate him with this garbage that he's proposing with Iran, because I am Jewish. I descended from the Jewish people, so I am not going to stand beside of somebody that's going to destroy God's people. You say whatever you want. They're still God's people. They may have made mistakes in the past, but God still identifies with the Jewish people. Keep trying to hurt them and find out what's going to happen, America. Keep messing with them. You know, I could tell you some of the prophecies and the things that have happened in the past with Bill Clinton and President Obama. When you go after Israel and treat them the way you do, this country gets under natural attack. Hurricanes, strange tornadoes all over the place. You think God's not in control of these climates? He's still in control, people. He has not lost his control of this world. And there's another thing also as well. We need to understand that if we go along the lines, especially with Iran and China and all these other things that are going on, we're going to bring this country down. You know, it's funny to me. Everybody looks at this situation. You hear that the virus came from China and everything else. But I urge you, go into your stores and look for masks. Look for your mask. You got your mask and everything. I want you to look for the little tag on the mask. Now, there's some out there who are not. The majority of mask people come from China. They're making money off of us even through this pandemic. They own Walmart. This is not a fact that I know. I haven't researched that. So before you start trying to block me, Facebook or whoever else you are, I know that it's not a fact, but we also know for a fact that Walmart bought a lot of business to China. Also, China right now, if you look around, they're having our newspapers. They're trying to get people to go along with them and to come alongside of them in the foolishness that they're perpetrating on this world. And I'm not going to go into this other part, but there's been treatments for coronavirus a long time ago. Even in the very beginning, when they found the treatment out, they blocked people from getting the drug that could heal or bring the people to healing fast. So a lot of people died needlessly. I know that many are going to say, well, that's not true. Well, it came from the science, Democrat Party. It came from doctors. Just because the doctors don't agree with the other doctors does not mean that what they are saying should not be looked at. I heard recently on a report with Candace Owens on Prager University, they spoke on there talking about the fact that don't we have a medical system in this country? If one doctor gives you one opinion, aren't you allowed to say, no, I want to get another opinion? Yes, you're allowed to get a second opinion, but they're trying to take that freedom away from you too, because we appreciate President Trump because he put out the rule to say, look, you can ask for any medication you want, and the doctors and the hospital cannot prevent you from getting it. They can try and prevent you, but if you come in that hospital and they try to deny you the medication that you so richly deserve, if you desire it, and it can be gotten for you, they need to get it and they need to give it to you, because it is your life, people. It is your body. It is your health. So don't let them do anything they want to do. I experienced this myself. I've been in hospitals, and I know they'll try to get you to do all kinds of stuff. But we have a right to say no what we want to say no to. So don't feel like you don't have a right to say no, or you don't have the right to request other things that are not necessarily offered to you. And some don't like the fact that I have a national voice, but this is in several areas in this country. Matter of fact, I know we're heard over 37 states, and also my viewers are 15,000 viewers per episode. So my viewers, I want to thank you for considering constantly sticking by me and supporting this program. We also open this program up to advertisers. If you want your commercial to be on during this program, you're welcome to contact our email at the bottom of the screen, and we'll send you out contracts to invest in this company. But once again, I want to thank you for joining me here. But I do want to say this. We need to get behind our president, President Donald J. Trump. There's a lot of foolishness going on with the Democrat Party and with these electors, these states. All of a sudden, they were going for Trump. When they closed that at night, about 3 a.m., everything switched. Biden after the polls closed. I've never seen anything in garbage like this in the history of this nation. And even in Georgia, when they had to recount, they still prohibited the poll watchers. How can you do that and think that we're going to believe this is legal? It's crooked, and it needs to be pointed out. And President Donald J. Trump said he was going to clean the swamp. He's going to clean the swamp from inside out. He might be able to keep him out of office with all these phony lies, but I really think he's going back and he's going to win a second term, because this foolishness occurred back in 2000 with Al Gore, them stating he's the president-elect. In 37 days, he was back home. So, our president, the mass media ignored the fact that he was nominated for 5 Nobel Peace Prizes. They ignored that. He's also nominated for 2 in a year in the voting. Yet he's denied again in the media. They're not talking about it. How much did they tell you about him funding the historically black colleges? He talked about himself because he wants to let the American people know that he is for them. Because the fake news or the mainstream media is avoiding talking about these things. They're trying to make it look like our president doesn't care about the American people. He's not a racist. And I told you this last night. Systemic racism does exist, and its name is the Democrat Party. They didn't want the Emancipation Proclamation. They didn't want the Civil Rights Act. They enacted Jim Crow laws. And they are also, I'm telling you people, they're also trying to reverse the Civil Rights Act of 1964. You think I'm joking? Do your research. They mentioned something a few times. They stayed over it. If you're not listening, you miss it. So you need to pay attention. I'm not saying I miss anything, because I'm always listening. But I want to thank you for joining us here on the Black Conservative Voice, here on the CTM News Network. And I'm David Colbert. I'm reporting to you from a remote location. But I want to just say these 3 things to you like I always say. I want to say God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the world. So until next time, this is David Colbert saying good night and God bless.
Hello, CTM News viewers. We love you and appreciate you. I'm, of course, Raina Rose, host of Soul Nutrition on CTM News. I'm excited to tell you about my new book, Sin Tastes Good, Nourishing Your Soul in an Empty Calorie World, where we explore connection to God, self, and other people around us. Have you ever wanted to deepen your connection with God, deepen your connection with those around you, and deepen your connection with yourself? Well, this is the book for you. We dig into questions about what we want our lives to look like and answers of how to get there. It comes out Thanksgiving 2020, and I can't wait to have you all read Sin Tastes Good along with me. For special updates, please follow my Instagram, which is The Soul Nutritionist, with little underscores underneath the words. And also, if you would like to email me for some exclusive content from this book, my email is raina@raina-rose.com. Looking forward to hearing from you soon. God bless and keep you, and nourish your soul.